It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 220 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Today is hazelnut.
Because we love Bright and Early's hazelnut coffee. If you're not drinking this coffee, you are missing out. We have a code. It's CWTCL 15 for 15% off bagged coffee. Now, if you use K-Cups, go on over to Amazon. Where should everybody go for the coffee?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
And follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious hazelnut coffee in chat?
I am, but first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, so as the post says, celebrate good times. It was a special day for you today.
I had not one, but 2 goosey eggs.
So it's either 2 of the geese or 1 goose that laid it 2 days in a row.
It's possible. Now, I didn't see, when I opened the goose shed this morning, there was clearly a nest.
Yeah.
And I had to uncover it to find the egg. I did not see that nest yesterday, but it's possible that Mirabelle did lay that egg and she just made more of a nest today. It's possible.
Yeah.
The other possibility is that it could be one of the buffs. And if it was one of the buffs, it was probably apple strudel, but I don't know for sure. I'm just excited.
You're just celebrating. Celebrate.
Yes, we are celebrating. Mirabelle has been squatting. Well, the way geese squat, which isn't quite the same, but she's been showing signs that she was going to start laying.
Yeah, you've been talking about that for a while. So we figure it's definitely her.
Yes, at least one of them is her, but yeah. Because she's a production strain of Toulouse.
Right, and the other thing is geese don't really use a nest box, so you kind of had to go searching around now that she was showing signs. So you thought today you were like going around boasting that you were rich because you had a goose egg because it's like the equivalent of 4 chicken eggs.
Yeah. another two of those babies, and I'm going to be like, look at this. Look at this.
What'd you have for dinner? 1 egg? Oh, that's not a lot.
1 goose egg. 1 goose egg. I was out free-ranging the geese, and I was looking on my phone at recipes that take exactly 3 eggs.
Oh, so you can use it.
Right.
I would think you would want to use it for baking purposes because that's what it would be best for, I would believe.
That's what I'm going to do, but I'm sure I'll try all the different ways. I'll make some goose egg salad and some scrambled goosey eggs, and I'm going to do it all. I'm going to have fun with this.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. That's awesome.
Goose love.
As we're recording right now, we're gearing up for ice tomorrow morning. Oh, can winter be over? Man, come on.
At least it's not going to be like -1 degree, so.
No, it's going to be like midday, hopefully over freezing and start to melt. But there's 2 other storms coming, one of which over the weekend is more ice, and then next week is snow. Do not want to hear the 4-letter word anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
Yep. Yippee. Yippee. Oh, I can't stand it either.
Well,
anyway,
this week is Valentine's week.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the week of the sweethearts.
We've got all kinds of poultry love happening.
Oh, yes. We have a great episode that we're going to be doing, and you guys are going to love it.
Speaking of poultry love, I just want to very quickly send out a shout out to our vet, Dr. Rebecca.
Oh, yeah.
Always
amazing.
Galentine's, right. Well, she's always amazing, but in the space of 7 days, I have brought her 2 absolutely freaky cases. And she's just amazing. She just dives right in.
She is an amazing
We
person.
love you, Dr. Rebecca. Thank you.
Yes, happy Galentine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it and you want to be our Galentines, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a written review for Valentine's Day. I would love it. It would be the best Valentine's Day gift if you guys would go over and leave us a written review. We would love it. And hit that subscribe button because you never want to miss this fun. No way. Too good, man. And they count them.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, duck, or goose loving friends about us.
Or turkey.
Or turkey. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show at patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to our patrons. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show note, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
So, winter is coming.
It's better when Sean Bean says it.
Can you stay on topic for just a minute?
What topic?
Winter. Well, chickens, obviously. And igloo coops from Omelette.
Oh, yeah. You got to have an igloo for winter.
If you don't know igloos, they're engineered for extremes. Double insulated, waterproof, and stormproof.
They keep out any weather and all predators.
And you can just wipe them clean.
My girls and little man are so comfy in their Igloo Pro.
Mine too. Warm and dry all year round.
Winter is coming.
Be ready with an igloo.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tea, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. It's time for a game! Let's play this game. It's called Breed Spotlight. And this week, we are Breed Spotlighting the
Old English game. The Old English game, yes. You are cracking yourself up over there.
I'm getting tired because we have been working all day long and now it's late into the night for us.
Yes.
Because, you know, we're old. So 7 p.m. or later is.
I know, right? That's bedtime.
When I'm about to get bed, I got to get up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow.
If I got up at 4:30, I could probably do like a day's worth of work before the sun came up. But there's no part of me that can get up that early.
I get up at 4:30. I feel like 9 is like midday
like
at
you
that
have,
point.
You have been working for hours.
Yes. Oh, before we go into the Breed Spotlight, I want to just say one thing about this month's Patreon call. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Just a shout out to the ladies. We did a show and tell of one of your favorite chicken items. Those items were so cool that everybody brought to the meeting. I loved it.
That was super fun.
Okay. Now we
back
can
to the show.
Back to the game show. Yeah.
The Old English game is one of the older chicken breeds around. They were developed largely in England, and many sources credit our old friends, the Romans,
of course, the Romans,
for bringing the earliest versions into England for the purpose of cockfighting.
But of course, they were in England because the name of the chicken is
Old English. Well, yeah. Now, there's actually a name change for them at some point, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that later.
Science has proven that the Britons already had chickens when the Romans arrived, right?
What? No, the Romans brought them.
No, it was the fighting part that the Romans introduced.
Oh, come on.
Yes. Now, It is a good thing that the Romans also brought garlic and basil and wine grapes as well. So I'll give them a little leeway.
My people brought a lot of good stuff, man.
I'm just going to let that sit. Normally, we don't even want to mention cockfighting on this show.
Boo, hiss, no.
It was the sole purpose of this breed for over 1,000 years. That's what they were used for.
So sad.
It is. These beautiful birds are a heritage breed, and they're currently listed in the threatened category of the Livestock Conservancy's conservation priority list.
There are some people that have them, and they really, really love these birds that they have. They're like a little bird that gets into your heart that is just...
We get a lot of requests for it, and I just dig in, my feet, my heel, whatever. I just dig in because I don't want to do it, because I don't want to talk about cockfighting, because I get so incredibly angry and upset.
I don't even want to think about that because it's so cruel. It's the treatment of people to animals is just unthinkable at that point, that it's one of those things you just don't want to think about. But it was history and it happened.
Right, it happened.
So now we have to go there.
Your people brought it into England, and then my people picked up the hobby and stayed with it. So I think there's equal blame going around, right?
It's the blame game, man. The blame game.
Yeah. I'm getting warmed up here because I'm about to say cockfighting, in my opinion, is one of the most widespread abominations practiced by humans.
Amen.
Can I get an amen? But the thing is, it was seriously popular. Everyone from kings of England and commoners alike kept fighting cocks, and they enjoyed watching the sport, in air quotes, sport.
Oh, it's awful, man.
To this day, many gentlemen can be heard extolling the virtues of this little bird's willingness to fight anything and everything. And even according to Lewis Wright, who was writing, in the early 1900s, he was talking about the term game that we use, these are game birds, right?
Right.
And the reason we use the word game to describe someone who's ready and willing or who's brave or tenacious, all of that just comes from this Old English game fowl. So like, you got game all the way down to I'm game for it. All of that comes back to this fighting bird.
This little tiny bird that would fight to the death. And it's so sad. It's just...
One of the things about them, to me, is how gorgeous they are. I mean, we'll talk more about the colors, but they're beautiful birds.
They really are.
Now, early on, they were known as pit game birds, like pit bull dogs. And this is probably because they would fight them in a circle, and there would be risers for seating so everyone could see. So the fight was in the pit, right?
Yeah, not good.
But once fighting was outlawed in the UK, their name was changed to Old English Game as sort of a commemoration of their past.
Oh my goodness. It's one of those good histories that you can feel good about talking about at this point. But like we said, it is what it is. It happened to them. But, now they're beloved pet. So that's good.
Well, here's the good news part of this. This is the history I like. Cockfighting was outlawed in England in 1835, and legislation was passed to tighten up the laws again with the Cockfighting Act of 1952. Well done, England. In the U.S., cockfighting is now illegal in all 50 states and Washington, D.C., and it's considered a felony in 42 states.
What about the other 8? What about the other 8? Come on.
Girl, I got nothing. I just don't know. The first state to ban cockfighting was Massachusetts in 1936. The last state, Louisiana, in 2008.
I think we've already booed this on another episode. Boo to Louisiana.
I'm booing it again. I'm booing it again.
For Louisiana for waiting till 2008 to ban this. Seriously.
Now.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, man.
It's disgusting, frankly. It is. All right, chicken ladies are all fired up now. So
we're fired up.
Start talking about the good things about this chicken.
Let's start. Let's do it.
This breed is still very popular, especially as show chickens. And lots of people keep the bantams as pets. The bantams are adorable little things.
There were a lot of these at the Ohio Nationals. I remember seeing a ton.
There were a lot of games in general. So
yeah.
Sometimes known for their aggressive personalities, many breeders have been working on breeding this out of successive generations.
They are. They're feisty.
Yeah. The OEG has also served as a foundation breed for many of our modern breeds. Now, here's the thing, though. Don't confuse them with the large modern games or the American game bantams. They are separate breeds. The Old English Game Bantams were accepted into the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1925, while the large standard Old English Game birds were accepted into the Standard of Perfection in 1938.
Okay.
And then in 1965, some additional colors were accepted.
Let's go through them.
Okay, so this is for the standard bird.
The black-breasted red.
The brown red.
The gold duckwing.
Silver duckwing.
The red pile.
White.
Black.
Spangled.
Blue-breasted red.
Lemon blue.
Blue gold duckwing.
Blue silver duckwing.
Self blue.
And the very beautiful Creole.
That's a lot of colors.
Well, hold on to your chair.
So, yeah, I know.
The Bantams come in even more colors. They include Wheaten.
Black-tailed buff.
Colombian.
Cuckoo.
Millefleur.
And the brassy back.
Brassy back.
That's a cool name.
It is. It's great. Now, the Bantams appear in the APA Standard of Perfection in 27 different colors.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all beautiful. They're beautiful little birds.
I mean, it's just a shame that their feistiness, even towards other birds, it's so instilled in them that people are still trying to breed it out. You know, like that's...
Yeah, I mean, and it probably comes down to the bloodlines at this point. You know, there are probably breeders who have been working on this for generations.
It's crazy. Now, the Old English Games, they are a light-bodied bird. The standard calls for roosters to weigh in at 4 to 5 pounds and hens 3.5 to 4 pounds. Now, they have close, hard feathering, little to no fluff, a slim but very muscular build, long legs, and a long neck. They're different than any other chicken you really have looked at.
Yeah, they're really unique looking.
Now, the breed standards call for the cockerels to have their combs and wattles dubbed. That's the old word for trimmed or removed. Now, seriously?
It's cosmetic now, right? And the only practical aspect of doing this is frostbite prevention. But dubbing combs and wattles back when they were being fought protected them in fights, right? It was less for their opponent to grab.
Exactly. But this is just crazy. It doesn't need to be done right now.
Of course it doesn't. Yeah, it is strictly cosmetic, and you know we have issues with that. Well, we have issues with a lot of things, so.
Do you remember when we went to Williamsburg? We actually saw one there that had none. And it's so odd looking to me. I was holding that chicken, I believe. Did I hold that chicken?
You were holding a Hamburg.
Okay. So, but I think I noticed it, and I was like, that's just crazy to me. To even see that.
Showed him to us. The reason they had him at Williamsburg is because cockfighting was popular in Williamsburg.
Yeah, colonial times. That's when, you know, seriously. So the females and the non-dub males have straight combs and red earlobes. Leg colors will vary depending on the color variety.
Right.
So it's a grab bag of what you're going to get, you know, according to what color feathering they have.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. Now, let's go into, drum roll please, the egg laying stats. Hens lay small white or cream eggs around 100 to 150, depending on bloodlines. And this is per year.
Right.
They do go broody and will raise a clutch for you. So broodiness, I mean, especially the bantams, they're going to have that for sure. But also the standards, they kind of have a little bit of broodiness in them. Now, the Old English Game bantam hens are known to be almost as broody as the Nankins.
And that's some serious broody. I mean, that's broody.
I mean, all bantams except for the lovely Seabright.
These days, the main reason that people keep Old English game birds is for show.
100% for show or for pets.
They are beautiful birds, and some people do keep them in backyard flocks, right? Though we do caution that these birds are not considered beginner friendly.
They're not.
If you're animal savvy, you know, you might have more of an idea how to take care of a bird that has a strong personality. But if you're just starting to get birds, we suggest you avoid these.
I think a lot of people kind of misunderstand it when we put this out there, beginner versus non. I really have a philosophy when beginning anything. You don't want to go in with the more complicated situations in the beginning because you want to get your feet wet. You want to get in there and kind of realize what you're doing first. And then gradually, we're not saying don't get these birds. What we're saying is give yourself a little leeway, a honeymoon period where you get used to handling chickens and doing those things.
Right.
So then when a little 2-pound chicken comes after you, you will be ready.
Yes. Although I will say, this is a perfect breed for our upcoming guest because we're going to talk all about dealing with roosters, and it's really good stuff.
She's great with those birds. I mean, she could have 100 of them. That's for sure.
Like we were saying, they may not be the best birds to have around small children, and they're not going to give you tons of eggs. We have heard of some people using them as table birds.
That's crazy to me. I'm sorry. They're just so tiny.
There's not a lot of bird there, but
oh my God. Okay.
They're also very active, and they can be flighty with a strong startle reflex.
I mean, you would be too if you always thought somebody was coming after you.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
Seriously. They can fly and they like to roost in the trees. So if you free range, you're going to have to watch these chickens because you may be getting the ladder and climbing up the tree to get them because you don't want to leave them in the trees because a predator will get them. They're so small.
Yeah.
But they're great flyers because they're only like 2 pounds. Now, being 2 pounds, not having a lot of fluff, this is not a cold, hardy breed of chicken.
No, okay? Especially those tiny bantams. They do fare well in hotter climates, especially if the males haven't been dubbed. One of our many problems with dubbing is that it essentially takes away one of their best heat regulators.
Exactly. That's what it's there for.
Combs and wattles.
If you have them in the heat, they can't sweat. So you're taking away their
nature's way of
getting rid of the heat.
Cooling them. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man, it's just terrible.
I'm sorry, everybody, because I'm kind of fired up after this breed spotlight. And we really try to respect differences, but I see no reason why these birds need to continue to have their combs and wattles removed.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way when I worked in the animal hospital for all those years. And some animals, they have the dew claws removed, and you could kind of see that, like dog-wise, because they can overgrow. Mm-hmm. But when ears were done, I was not a fan of it, ever. I'm like, why? The reason why people did the ears was because of fighting them.
Right.
So why are they still doing it? But people do use it as it's the breed standard, but it's not.
Do you remember my boxer, Annie?
Yeah.
Annie's ears were never done. I think because she ran away from wherever she was before anyone did her ears. I thought she was the cutest thing with those floppy ears.
I love like the dobies with the floppy ears and stuff, but a lot of people do it.
Especially in the South, it gives them some fly protection, too.
Yeah, so this is kind of on the same lines if you think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like, the tail dubbing on some dogs, it's the same thing. That actually serves more of a purpose than anything else, but it's all for the same reason, for fighting purposes, which is so 1,000,000% wrong.
Or for farming.
Yeah.
I mean, especially terriers, because they didn't want, like, say, the cow to grab a tail or the tail to get stuck in a gate. I get that, too.
I think it's also about keeping them clean, too.
Sure.
That's a little different, but it's still kind of the same thing.
Well, we could go down a long rabbit hole with, sheep tails being dots, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, these birds...
The question is, where can we get them?
So if you want to get into showing this breed, there's an Old English Game Club of America and an Old English Game Bantam Club of America, both of them with active Facebook groups. So that's a great resource if you want to get into showing. Murray McMurray Hatchery does offer Old English Game Bantams. They offer the gorgeous black-breasted red, the red pile, the silver duck wing, and they are undubbed.
Yay!
Combs and wattles intact from McMurray. Yes.
Yay.
Thank you, Tom, and everyone else.
That's why we love them. That's amazing. Now, if you have the Old English Game and you want to share pictures with us, we would love to see them. Go over on Instagram and post your story. Hit the mention button and type in Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. It'll send us a message with the story and we'll reshare it on ours. We want to see your chickens. Send us the pictures.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top-quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit metzerfarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder in 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
Yeah.
This week, we are thrilled to have one of our wonderful return guests, Kelly Rutkowski, is here with us today. She is the woman behind PoultryDVM, Adopt-A-Bird Network, and also works as a rooster behavior consultant. Kelly, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, lady, welcome back to the table. We're so happy to have you. It's been fun being your friend and watching all your stuff you're doing with the chickens. You're doing great things. And we wanted to have you back for our Valentine's Day episode because we're doing rooster love. We're going to talk all things loving roosters, and who better to have but Kelly on to talk about roosters?
Yes, I'm obsessed.
Once you really experience amazing rooster love and, you just fall in love with them and there's no turning back, like your heart aches for all those roosters out there. They're just so wonderful. Everything about them. They're just so loving.
I think sometimes they are misunderstood in they're not being aggressive. They're doing their job as genetically they're programmed to do, is to protect. And I think getting in and understanding them better may help people understand that there's a way that we can all coexist in this so that roosters don't have to be as disposable as they are right now. That should never be happening. So our first question that we wanted to start out with you was talking about, what do you do? First thing is you get chicks, you're in there and you think you're getting the little girls and oh, I got a rooster. So what should be kind of the first things you think of?
Well, I mean, initially there's nothing. It's more when they mature is when you're going to start wanting to kind of just like watch your behavior and kind of be more conscientious of everything that he does and you do. And I'd say right off bat, you want to hand feed him treats to give to the girls. I say that's like a big thing. Basically, you want to do things that help prevent issues from occurring, which are actually, ironically, somewhat the same exercises you would do if you have a problem rooster too. But these are like more, I guess, they're not as extensive as you would do with ones with a problem. Like, for example, you definitely want to be able to pick him up easily. That's a big one. Like, it's easy to do that as a chick, but you want to keep doing that until he's an adult. And then the most important thing is still handle him even when you put him out with the other chicks. I'd say that's actually the biggest problem that I see with people is like they're very like loving and they hold them and everything cuddle when they're young. And then when they put them outside, it's like a completely different environment. And you need to continue your relationship with him. You can't just like put him out there because it's like taking, like if you were a teenager and you learned everything, or not even a teenager, like a baby. And then when you're becoming a young adult and you're out there, you need to kind of reestablish a relationship because it's going to be different, because in their mind, their number of years is different than ours. So like, that's a long time,
That's a great point. Being a first-time mom of a rooster, of course, I'm going to put this out there today because everybody kind of knows little man at this point. And, when I realized, and Holly and I were looking at him and I'm like, he looks way different. I think it's a boy. It's a boy. Yay. Mm-hmm. The first thing you initially feel is a little fear, Freudian slip there. You're like, oh no, what's going to happen? Because we're all programmed to think they're all going to be this way, that way. But what you have to do is get over that hurdle and make that relationship and that bond come together. And I think you're right. Consistency is the key. Now, with little man's case, he was the runt, per se, of the group of chicks. So he got a lot of extra attention from the beginning. And I think that really helped. And I think that can help with anybody. Just start handling them a lot. And like you said, feeding by hand so that they know your hand as food versus anything else.
Yeah. Well, and also the hand feeding, the reason why it's useful is like when you see the rooster, he tidbits to his hens and he gives them food. So it's like kind of a dominance thing. So if he accepts the food from you, he's sort of accepting that you're like dominant over him. And so it's kind of like speaking his language. And it's also like, it's like a trust thing. Like you're helping him with feed his ladies. So he's going to appreciate that. And then, he'll take the food from your hand and give it to the hens more than likely, which is great because that's fine because, you want everyone to be fed anyways. So you're just giving it to your rooster to feed everybody. So it's actually a win-win. But yeah, I hear a lot of people just scatter the treats on the ground. I'm like, no.
Does like talking to them consistently also, it feels like that could help too. If they know you, your voice, everything about you, like every time you come in, you're dressing them, you're talking to them. I feel like that can be part of them getting to know you and knowing that, yeah, you're going to be mommy here, way up, and everybody else is under. So those types of things. I see you give us your social media account because you do so many great tips and tricks on your social media account that people can teach their roosters.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Quackers, QUACKERS, and Fernie, FERNIE, Quackers and Fernie. It's named after my two ducks that I originally had started the account for. And I just kept it because, there's the chicken.
Yeah, everybody should be watching because you do lots of training tips for your roosters on there.
Yeah, like I just want to be able to, reach people that are having issues to try to help them. So, because roosters are awesome. They're really great. And a lot of people get, like we were saying, fearful that they're going to attack and be mean and are aggressive, but most of them actually aren't. And that's the thing is like, there's just like some can be, I want to say you just need to learn to communicate with them is the biggest thing. It's a communication problem is when you have issues. And then once you learn to kind of be able to communicate with him properly, your relationship will improve.
I used to do a lot of llama and alpaca rescue. And I had a herd for well over 20 years. And I just lost my last guy last year. Where I'm going with that is those are big animals. And though I grew up with horses, I didn't really know the body language that llamas and alpacas needed. So I started going to seminars with this great trainer. And she had this saying that I've always taken and substituted llama for rooster. So she would say, for every human having a llama problem, there's a llama having a human problem. And I think it's very much the same with roosters. Like a person feels like my rooster is just being a pain. In reality, that rooster is confused. And it's like, my person is not doing what they need to be doing.
And there's a llama crying to their mama.
Oh, girl, stop. She was just waiting to get that out there.
I was so waiting to get that out there.
In the very beginning, like Chrissy was like, oh, I don't know a rooster. I don't know about this. I don't know if I can keep him. Will you take him? And I told her like 50 times, yes, I will take him, but you should try first.
Well, you said not that. You said you're not going to want to give him up once you have him.
Okay, same difference. But and I would give that same advice to most people. Like, if you don't have any legal restrictions and you have, a good setup where you can keep a boy, give it a try.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe you can work with any rooster. Like there's no rooster that's beyond hope or whatever. Like people say, oh, I've done everything and my rooster's still mean. I'm like, no, you haven't. I promise you. You have not done everything. And then I'll ask, what did you do? And of course, it's usually the bad advice and it's only like one or two things. It's nothing that actually would help. And so like, yeah, and then they get this bad rap that they're mean and every other bad word under the sun when really they're not. They're not trying to be mean. That's the thing. People think they're trying. They're not. That's not what their objective is.
No, they're being protectors of their flock. That's what they're genetically trained or genetically programmed to do. I think also just understanding and taking them out from the girls and spending that time with them one-on-one.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, people even, you can build a relationship with someone one-on-one, and it's much stronger than if it's like a group-on-group kind of thing.
Exactly.
But with the rooster, if you take them out and show them that you're building a relationship with them, then I feel like they understand. They're highly intelligent animals. They understand all these things.
Oh, yeah. You can train them just like dogs. I mean, actually, the dog trainers, I think they train chickens first. I mean, they can do everything you train a dog to do.
Yeah.
It's really no different. They have the equal intelligence. Like dogs are as smart as 3-year-olds, as chickens are smart as 3-year-olds. Like, however, I actually think chickens are slightly smarter, in my own opinion. But
I mean, like little man already, he will not poop on me. He is trained to only poop when he's put down.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, because I take him out everywhere with me in a sling. So he knows like when he's on me, he's not going to go to the bathroom until he gets put down on the ground. So, and he's only 9 or 10 months. They learn very quickly.
You don't take him to the feed store or any place where biosecurity would be an issue.
No, he goes to the brewery. I don't think biosecurity is an issue at the brewery.
Yeah. Or I mean, people even just taking them on a car ride around the block, like you don't have to do that much. I mean, just literally spending like 5 or 10 minutes a day.
We took him to the mall and he walked around in the sling at the mall and he made so many people happy that day.
People love seeing them.
They love seeing them. It's something different. And some people, you will never believe the people that come up to you to say, I've never seen a chicken in person.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So taking them any place, and in the sling, I feel like it's pretty biosecure because they're just up against your body. They're not on the ground walking around or in the stroller, one or the other or whatever. And I mean, we even have a car seat for the chickens. So it's taking them out and socializing can also help. What are some of the training tips that you can give us?
Well, like I said, initially the, hand feeding and then the spending time with them, that's a huge thing. Another thing that I think is very useful is to use positive reinforcement training, which is essentially what they use to train dogs. And so you can start with that by, for example, if you're going to take him out of where he is with the hens for 5 or 10 minutes, and he really has to be like a place where he can't even hear them. He doesn't worry. It's like stress-free. And then you can train him to do like tricks, for example, even like I train my little roosters to hop up on a log, or you can train him to hula hoop. There's like a lot of different things. And then, just training him to do that, like that task in itself is A, spending time with him, and B, getting him to learn to do something that later on, when you have him out with the hens, if he starts to get, like a little protective or something, you just ask him to do the trick that he learned with you, and then he distracts him because he does that, because they actually become they like it. They'd rather get a treat. I forget what it's called. There's a terminology for it, where they'd rather work for food than just have it available. And it's 100% true.
They value earning their stuff rather than just being given. That's interesting.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Like with little roosters, like if I try to give them treats, like they actually aren't very interested and don't want it. But like if I ask them to do something, like, hop on the log, come little guys, even just come to their name, then they'll eat it. Like they like it. It's like something that they earned. And so that's why I do really recommend people using, training them to do a trick as well. And I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do with positive reinforcement training as well. Like it's not just trick, but like, for example, if you didn't want to like really I don't know the word, deal with him when you're out there with the chickens, you could train him to like stand up on a platform while you're doing everything, like using positive reinforcement training. And then he'd stand there, and then that's what they do at zoos. Like a lot of, not necessarily roosters, but with other animals. That's how they're able to interact with ones that could potentially like hurt them, is they use this kind of training method. It's called shifting, I think. Yeah, where they go into they just go to a place and stand there until you tell them to move. And you train them that, using positive reinforcement. Some people use clickers. You can actually use clickers to do it. It works well as well. And to do that, it's just very repetition, consistency, and like being able to go at a gradual pace.
I feel like that's the key with all of them, is trying those things and repeating them over and over, the consistency of doing it. And I feel with chickens, like even with any chickens that you have, when I bring them, say they sleep in a pop-up in the garage at night for so many consecutive nights, they go on the run during the day, and for whatever reason they're in, by the 4th or 5th day, they're basically walking from the coop to the garage to go sleep, because they're so in tune to learn a behavior, and they're so smart that they realize at certain times, okay, this is what's going to happen. I wanted to touch on the fact that roosters can be great house pets. So you can keep them completely separate from all your hens. They're kind of like dogs in a way.
Yeah, they are. They can, a lot of people are keeping house roosters these days. I mean, if I had different circumstances where I could, I would totally do that. And I mean, you don't need to have hens for them in that case. Like, they just need to have a companion. So whether it be, if you work from home and you're there and you're there with them, I mean, that's sufficient as long as you spend time with them. Or, they can also like befriend other animal species too. Like, there's a lot of who are friends with the dog, friends with the cat, but you have to be careful to make sure that they actually are friends. And I wouldn't, if you aren't there, leave them alone, because could be predators as well. So.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like they're the new pet to have. And roosters are perfect because you're not really worrying about the egg laying and all that other stuff with them in the house. There are chicken diapers out there, so they can wear the diapers in the house, and they want the companionship. So, there's other things that we can do besides making them the disposable animal that society has kind of made them. We can try to help them. We wanted to talk about, now, if you do get a rooster and because of where you live, you can't keep them, you were going to give some options for people. If you've tried everything and you just can't keep them, what can you do?
Well, so there's a lot of different things, for example, to try to keep him, like we're saying, keep him inside your house, because a lot of these regulations say outside. It doesn't apply to inside. So keeping him, inside. I just want to review the different options people have before they, I want to cover what everything is.
So does that mean if they technically sleep in the house and just go out to, play or get some sunlight, does that technically mean they don't live there, that they live in the house?
I mean, I don't know. I would be wary on that, depending on the regulations and your neighbors and stuff, because it's dependent on crowing. That's how they find out if they're there or not. So if he crows a lot, and he's going to crow. So even just keeping him indoors and then putting him outdoors. But I mean, you can give him some sporadic playtime, I suppose, at times where people maybe aren't there. But I would be conscientious about that. But I mean, they can do fine inside, and like you were saying, the diapers. And then other options people can have if they can't keep them is they could reach out to different organizations like sanctuaries, or go on their Facebook groups. However, if they do that, it's very, very important that they make sure that the people are actually gonna adopt them and be nice to them and like not kill them. And because there's a lot of people out there who will just take the roosters and kill them or not treat them right. So I'd say the biggest thing is to ask questions for anyone that wants the rooster. Ask lots of questions. Ask for, a picture of their setup so that you can see it's a good place. Like, ask them how they care for their flock? Do they take them to the vet? Like basically try to get an idea of how they will care for them. And then also like when you decide you want to drive him to him or, the exchange, like I would never like meet them somewhere. I would insist on going to their place so that you can see exactly what's there. And then if you have a bad feeling, you can just take them and then get pictures. That's the other biggest thing. Ask for pictures. Anyone that's not going to give them to you or it doesn't want is saying, oh no, it's not a good home. And then you want to like stay on that as well, like asking for pictures periodically throughout to make sure. And if they stop giving them, it's a bad sign. And a lot of people, for example, drop them off at like farm stores and stuff, and then they think they're going to good home, and they're usually not. They usually like go to farms to get killed, basically for food, and people don't realize that because they don't ask for pictures or ask for any evidence, and so and then there's ways you can actually like I don't know the right word for this, market your rooster to make him more appealing to people to want to adopt. So like I see a lot of people, they'll just say, oh, rooster for available. They won't even give a picture. They just won't even like having pictures of you holding him and like people like videos of interactions with him and then details about like his personality, what he's like, and kind of like give people a snapshot and then also stay on your post pet only, not to, state it on it to not be killed so that you won't get approached by the wrong people as well. And then you don't necessarily need to have a fee, but I think that maybe even just some sort of, if you're going to do a fee, have it a high one. Don't have them as like $5, especially if they zero. Like I kind of would avoid any kind of price at all, to be honest. And then just ask, the right people will want to have him. And then you can, give it to them as long as they meet the criteria that you want.
Yeah. Anyone reasonable is not going to balk at a rehoming fee. That's very fair. And most people understand why, the original owner is asking a rehoming fee. I'm with you. If it doesn't smell right, get out of there. Don't give them your burger.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like, I wouldn't go on Craigslist either. Like a lot of people put their chickens on Craigslist. I wouldn't do that. And then, just Adopt a Bird Network actually has like an individual group where you can come and you can post about your rooster in there. And it's kind of a safe space that you can do that. And if you're really in a bind, and you've actually tried everything else, you can approach me and I will try to help. But I do wish people try everything else that we've discussed here first.
I think the key is not to be afraid. I'm just speaking from my own experience because in 10 plus years, I had never had a rooster. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to get a rooster. But, when it came time, when I came to the realization at first, I was kind of fearful. And then I'm just like, no, why? There's nothing to be afraid of. And try it first, especially if you just have chickens and one rooster, it's not going to be bad. You have to try to just keep repeating your behaviors and make that relationship important.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about working with them is I actually will give a guarantee to anyone that does stuff I ask. When I give it to them, I give people like an itinerary, like day to day. This is what you do today. This is what you do. Like, that's exactly what I do. I do it based on information they give me on the background and, what he's like. And then it changes because it's something that's dynamic, it'll change as things go. And I will guarantee if they do it and it doesn't work out and they don't want the roosters, I will find him a home. Like, that's my guarantee. So it's pretty easy.
So everyone out there that if you have a problem rooster, you can work directly with Kelly. That's the thing. She's a rooster behavioral consultant. And that's what she's saying. She has a guarantee that what she's saying is going to work for you. So you can reach out to her if you're in a situation where you really need some help. That's what she does for a living. She's going to help you.
What I try to request people to do is subscribe to my Instagram. And it's like a coach. It's basically if you subscribe, get unlimited coaching and extra things. So it's actually a pretty good deal. If you're interested in that, and I will do, it's like you have me one-on-one whenever you need me to help as well. So I do recommend that. But really just don't give up. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Try. That's the biggest thing is try. And listening to the right people. I also think, if you're I mean, I think my advice is good, but there's other people that do give advice, like you guys, and like animal sanctuaries usually are a pretty good resource as well. Like I would stay away from like people that say to do like inhumane things, because you don't need to do inhumane things to make it work.
If you were on Instagram for any length of time, you're going to see some atrocious stuff, and you don't need that in your brain. Hide it. Go follow Kelly. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. We've seen your birds, and I have my rooster this year has got a little bit of an attitude. He was a baby last year. He's a leghorn, and I have not spent enough time with him, and so I'm going to be spending more time handling him, taking him out away from the girls. It's also, this is his first spring, and he's got 16 hens, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. So a little more handling for him. That is really great advice. If somebody came to you and they had a problem rooster and they want to work with it, and you have 30 seconds to tell them one thing, what's the most important thing you want them to know about working with a rooster?
Well, I'd say probably the number one thing is spending one-on-one time with him. One-on-one, 5 to 10 minutes a day. Take him away from the hens. That is the number one thing. If you do that every day, I guarantee you'll see a result no matter what. And everything I give, all the advice I give is basically variations of that. Mm-hmm. That's the fundamental thing is building a relationship with him and learning. And it's also important to learn his, behavior, I think, as well, like actually learning rooster behavior so that you can kind of know what this, because basically when he's trying, if he does attack, he's not meaning to attack. He's trying to communicate with you. And that's what you need to remember. It's not that he's trying to attack you or be mean or anything. He's trying to communicate. And it's not just protecting hens. Sometimes they do that because, like, for example, they're sick or they're not happy with the situation. They're, frustrated over something. And that's their only way. They can't talk to you. They can't say, hey, this is what's going on. The only way they can communicate this to you is by, quote unquote, attacking. And it's just, that's what chickens do with each other too. I mean, it's how they communicate. It's, they communicate through behavior, the pecking order and behavior like that. So sorry, that's probably added more than.
That's okay. I mean,
it's fine.
That's what we want people to know. I'm going to be working with Mr. Armani a lot more, and I'm sure I will see big results. I trust your judgment. You're great with your animals. Okay. If you want to see more of Kelly, follow her on Instagram, Quackers and Fernie, and you can subscribe for like the deal of the century. You can also check out her work on PoultryDVM. Adopt a Bird Network is an amazing resource if you want to get some boys from a shelter and have them as your own pets, either in a bachelor flock or as a house rooster. Adopting is the way to go. Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. This has been invaluable.
So much good information. Thank you, Kelly.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
You're awesome. You're awesome. Until next time, because we know you're going to be back. We'll talk to you later.
Great. Thanks.
We just want to thank Kelly one more time. What a special person she is. Her love for these chickens is so deep and so genuine. Thank you, Kelly, for all that wonderful advice.
Her work is immense, and you're so 100% spot on. She loves these animals so much that she's willing to help anybody and everybody to save the roosters.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Our friends at Good Eggs solved the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier. Plus, they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you. Okay, so let's move on to
Cracking the eggs.
Cracking those eggs. Now, it's Valentine's week, and Joe's going to be listening to this, so I better make him something sweet. I got to make something sweet for my sweetheart.
This cake is so easy to make. It's delicious, too. I mean, it is really good. This is a chocolate mousse brownie cake. Essentially, the bottom layer is a brownie, and your girls are busy over here, so we use box brownie, and I'm not apologizing for it.
I do, but Ella shames me for using it.
No.
Ella's like, oh, she gets out the chocolate and everything else, and I'm like, look, I don't have time right now.
Really funny. My friend Michelle, who was a trained pastry chef, Michelle, the only brownies she makes anymore are King Arthur flour gluten-free. She doesn't need gluten-free, but she said it's the perfect fudgy brownie.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
all right, Ella, you hear that? If the pastry chef can use the box brownies, you can too, honey.
I think one day I just wanted to make a cake with the box. It was just like, I just wanted to do it. And she was like, oh my God, Mom, I can't believe you're making box cake. And I'm like, seriously, it's just flour, sugar. You know what I mean? It's just the dry ingredients mixed for you.
Right.
And then we added a bunch of other stuff to it to make it our own. But she was like, I can't believe you did that. I was like,
well,
sometimes you're in a hurry.
This one, you want that brownie layer. And in fact, this is the brownie layer is where your eggs are going.
Okay. So they're for that brownie mix there.
Right.
Okay. So let's go through the ingredients. The brownie layer is 1 box of brownie mix plus the ingredients listed on the box, which are the eggs.
That's right.
And
oil or butter. Yeah.
Right. It's usually oil and eggs.
And if you're gluten-free, obviously use a gluten-free mix.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So let's go through the ingredients for the chocolate mousse. It's 12 ounces of bittersweet chocolate, finely chopped, or dark chocolate chips, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3 cups of heavy whipping cream, and you're going to divide that, and 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, for the topping, very simple. You're going to do 1 cup of heavy whipping cream or oat milk, non-dairy, if you need to do that. And
there's actually dairy-free heavy whipping cream now.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty new and it works really well.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
And 3 tablespoons of powdered sugar.
Though I'm gonna tell you, just if you're not into doing the whole whipping cream thing yourself, just get Cool Whip. We're not gonna tell anyone. We don't care.
I know. If you want to do all the stuff, do it. If you don't have time, make the shortcuts. It's okay.
Yeah, we're not going to shame you. Do your thing.
Never. You'll never get that from us.
So for the brownie layer, you're going to grease or spray a 9-inch springform pan. The springform is important because you need to be able to open it and take those sides off because you've got layers. Layers. You're going to stir together the brownies using the instructions on the box. Pour the batter into the springform pan and bake according to the instructions. Then you're going to allow this layer to cool completely. I didn't make this layer far enough ahead, so I put it in the freezer. It was all good.
That's good.
Yeah. Also, I put an extra egg in it because I wanted the brownies to be a little cakier.
I like cakier brownies too.
Yeah.
I think I'm in the minority there because a lot of people want them really fudgy. I like them more like a cake.
I like them fudgy, but then when I started dating Pete, he likes them cakey. So I just gotten used to the cakey, and now that's what I like.
I like the cakey. I always have.
Chocolate mousse, you're going to place either the finely chopped chocolate, or I just use dark chocolate chips. Put them in a large mixing bowl. You're going to take 1 cup of the heavy cream, and you're going to microwave it for about 2 minutes in a microwave-safe container. Pour that hot cream over the chocolate and stir it until the chocolate is melted completely and it's mixed in with the cream. You're going to stir in the vanilla extract and the salt and set that aside to cool for at least 10 minutes. In a medium bowl, you're going to beat 2 cups of the heavy cream mixed with the sugar until soft to medium peaks form.
Okay.
So that you're going to grab that chocolate mixture. You're going to stir about 1/2 cup of this freshly whipped cream into the chocolate mixture to lighten it. Then you're going to gently fold the remaining whipped cream into the chocolate until it's fully incorporated. Then you pour that right over top of the cooled brownie crust, smooth the top, cover it, and pop it into the refrigerator for at least 6 hours or overnight.
Okay.
Most of the work for this cake is letting things cool and chill. It's not.
Yeah, it's not a lot of work.
It's not. And then, the whipped cream topping. So if you're still going to whip your cream, you want a medium bowl, whip together the cream and the powdered sugar until stiff peaks form. You can pipe this onto the cake. You can dollop it on there. You can even cut the cake and then put it on afterwards. Whatever works. If you want to go for that pretty 3-layer look, though, you're going to do brownie, mousse, whipped cream.
Exactly.
And that's it. And it's the perfect Valentine's Day recipe. It looks fancy.
Make it for your sweetie.
Yeah, it's great.
It's going to be good. Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. It's an easy one. It's great for everybody. And use that pre-made stuff Valentine's week. Don't make yourself work too hard. Give yourself a break. Okay, so let's move on to retail
therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah.
Okay, so this week's retail therapy is a little bit of a crazy one, but it's Valentine's Day week, and it's one of our favorite weeks. We love Valentine's Day. So why not show a little love to your chickens or whatever and carry them around in an animal sling?
Translation. Chrissy spoils little man so badly that he gets to ride in a baby sling. And he loves it.
He does. So we're just going to say where you could get them. And let me tell you, they're pretty popular for small dogs and cats.
Yeah.
And anyone that you can get like that, your chicken will fit into. Now, I had to take Francesca over to Dr. Rebecca last Monday to just check her out. And she loved the sling too. And she's over 5 pounds and she fit in the sling just fine.
Have you put one of the Bieleffelders in there?
That might be a little spicy because they're not ones that are going to be like, I love this.
And they're also really big.
Kind of like basil. I mean, that would be like putting basil in a sling. You'd be like, man.
Well, I wasn't talking about the spicy part. I was talking about the sheer size part of it.
Yeah, little Jackie's my biggest chicken. Sorry, Mom, but she's the biggest chicken.
She's gorgeous. She's absolutely beautiful.
I think she would fit in there, though. But little man, if he sees another chicken in there, it's almost like he's sad.
Oh, he's like, are you cheating on you're cheating on my sling. What are you doing?
So I got, a little mini dog car seat for the car so they don't have to ride in the carrier. So
it's hilarious.
They sit in the car seat. And then when we get out, they go in the sling. And a lot of people's heads turn. But it's okay. I'm okay with it. They love it.
Yes. It's hilarious is what it is.
Even people at the vets were just like double looking, like triple looking. And I'm like, it's a chicken in a sling, man.
You want to get some looks? Take a goose in a crate. See what happens.
Okay. So the places that you can get them are Amazon. That's where I got mine. I think it was $10. It was the best $10 ever. Chewy has one. See, they're popular. Chewy has them. You can never see it because my light's always bad in here. But all different colors. I got gray because that way everybody can use it.
Stylish neutral. Yeah, yeah.
It goes with all outfits. It works well at the brewery. Little man, I mean, it worked well at Home Depot. He loves going to his places.
Little man in the Home Depot.
But he never leaves my chest. So I don't have to worry about biosecurity so much because, I mean, he is literally, sometimes he tucks his head in too and you can't even see him. He's just like...
Well, yeah, the fact that his feet are not going on the ground and he's not messing with anything is actually really good.
And he's like, and then he pops his head out and everybody's like, whoa.
Get a rooster in there?
What is in there? It's my baby boy, sorry.
It's my baby rooster. That's okay.
So... yeah, Amazon, Chewy are the main places you can go. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Try it with one of your chickens.
What if you want to spend a lot of money? What if you want like a custom made one? Do they have them on Etsy maybe?
Oh, I'm sure. You can get anything on Etsy.
You could get something fancy schmancy that's handmade.
Have you ever seen women with the baby ones where it's like a one piece and they wrap it all?
Yep.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's one with the...
Oh, yeah.
But your chicken... I don't know how well your chicken's going to sit in there with that one, but probably little man would love it.
Because those are kind of tight fitting, almost like a swaddle, right?
That's like a swaddle. This dog's liking that in the picture.
Yeah.
Little man would probably like it. He would.
Well, he's special.
I mean, he crows all day for me to come back and get him. He hates it. Like, he doesn't hate it, but he's like, where are you?
Oh, boy.
What's he going to do for 10
days?
Chicken
separation anxiety. What, when we're in London? You're just going to have to smuggle him over there.
Do you want to go
see right? Wear the sling on the airplane.
Do you want to go see Auntie Fiona? Come on, let's go.
I will tell you right now, I'm not having that bird crow at us at I don't even know what time in the morning.
Your sister would be like, no,
I know she's gonna be like, you two are uninvited. Go out. She's gonna kick us out into the London streets.
It's just little man. He's my baby boy. Okay, so hey, check out the slings. They're not expensive. They're great to have. This is just a fun retail therapy because they're out there and you can use them. Why not?
Right.
Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting. Oh, this is a really, really cool chicken. The owlbeard.
Oh, yeah.
Main topic. We have Dr. John Moyle, Extension Specialist for University of Maryland, coming back to have a really important conversation with us about avian influenza.
This is really, really important. Everyone needs to listen to this one.
Cracking the eggs, Bavarian apple tort, yes please.
Please.
And retail therapy, we're talking chicken lady or chicken gent or chicken person footwear.
Yeah, because you're going to need it, and it needs to stay clean for your chickens.
Yep.
Okay, so what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens.
Every day, and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.